It's a full speed. You just have to touch him a bit, and he falls down. That's normal. That's a penalty. It's not legal to push somebody. It's not shoulder against shoulder. So for me, clearly, the 2 times with Alexander-Arnold and Matip, it was a penalty.
I don't mind when you're challenging in the box, if you're shoulder to shoulder, yeah, fine. But once a player gets in front of you, and as I said, Anthony, was it Gordon? Mm-hmm. Gordon, the brain freeze I was just talking about him 30 seconds ago. Young Anthony Gordon's pace was a thorn in their side most of the game. Once he gets ahead of you, the arm comes out from Matip as it did from Alexander-Arnold. And when you're running at that full pace and you're trying to get the ball, sometimes it is difficult to keep your balance when somebody pushes you. You're not allowed to, I can't remember if it's right or his left arm, you're not allowed to put that straight into somebody's back. So I think Everton, I've no doubt Liverpool were the better team, but Everton are scrapping for their lives. Burnley had won earlier in the day. They dropped into the bottom 3. It's a Merseyside derby. They're not playing well, right? Liverpool are on fire. You're going to have to get those decisions go for you. I keep going back to this, and I've seen somebody else talking about it today. And I don't know why this is a mindset of officials. Somebody will say a penalty is more difficult to give than a free kick. Why? Why? It's either an infringement or it's not. It's a foul or it's not. And I guarantee you, Atwell would have given that as a foul, particularly the second one. Anyway, if that was in the middle of the park, he'd have blown up and gone foul. Because that's an easy decision for him, right? And it shouldn't be. It shouldn't matter where it is in the field, and I think Everton can feel hard done by. And I think if you were in the blue half of Manchester, you would be looking at that game today thinking, oh my God, how are they not penalty kicks? And that's what Frank Lampard, I'm sure, is saying.
Don, was this a championship quality performance from Liverpool in that they overcame Everton's tactics, or was this like a game where Liverpool struggled and we should take maybe some concerns away from it from the Liverpool perspective?
I wouldn't take no concerns whatsoever, Sebi, to be honest. It's a Merseyside derby. It was never going to be easy. I think we're all coming back off the win against Man City and then the hammering against Man United. And you go into a Merseyside derby where Liverpool and Everton, the gap is 50 points between the two. 50. I can't remember the last time Everton and Liverpool, the gap was 50. It's incredible. So you've still gone into that game with a mindset thinking if Liverpool turn this on, they could win by 3 or 4 because they're that good. But then you factor in Everton, like Craig said, are scrapping for their life. They're fighting for every single ball. Their tactics were not Everton-like today, but I totally understand what they were trying to do. So from Liverpool's point of view, I wouldn't think of any concerns whatsoever because even when Jurgen Klopp went to the bench and he brought Diaz on, he had 1 or 2 touches that were just out of this world. Origi was unbelievable. He was a player that all of a sudden Mo Salah could bounce balls off. Took Sadio Mane off. The squad depth of Liverpool is just incredible. I can see these two sides being flawless at the end of the season unless some sort of shock happens and one of them draw a game. But these two teams are far and away the best.
Frank, you agree?
I have to agree. The numbers are showing the differences between them and the other teams. Everybody's struggling, and they showed in Europe. They showed also in domestic, where Liverpool is about to win almost everything, except if Chelsea decides otherwise. But you have to realize, I think they are the 2 best teams in the world right now. I don't see in the Champions League Real Madrid or Villarreal creating damages toward those two teams, and I clearly see a final between those 2 in the Champions League.
I think what we saw today was, I think for me, confirmation that, there was no Firmino, but he's not a regular now. Diego Jota played, fantastic signing, great player. The way he goes in to get goals, obviously not today, but as a generalisation, is a terrific asset for Liverpool. But I think I was sitting there thinking Diaz. He's just given them such an extra dimension. And I think it just confirms for me, if they were playing the FA Cup final tomorrow, or if it was Villarreal or Champions, whatever it was, Man City in the last game of the year, whatever it was, it's Diaz, Mane and Salah. As good as Jota and Firmino. And I think it just confirmed that little flatness that Diaz gives him, that extra spark. He's got a bit of everything. He runs with it, he can score goals, he's got trickery. He's got a terrific talent. His touch is fantastic, and I just think once he come on with Origi, that was just the signal that this had to change.
Those guys came on in the 60th minute. Robertson gets a breakthrough in the 62nd.
Of course, you needed a Scotsman to get them off.
Right, thank you. Thank you for pointing that out. Let's take a look at the bottom of the table. That is where we find Everton, who actually find themselves in even worse spot after a big win for Burnley. They got a 1-0 victory over Wolves. So there you have it. Burnley 17, Everton below the relegation line.
They could go.
Here are the odds then to see who will go down. Everton doesn't look good. Don, let me ask you this first, before we get into Everton's chances of staying up. You played for the club. You know a lot of people that are Everton fans. You know Frank Lampard. What do you think of the approach today? Because Jordan Pickford's, he's wasting time in the first half.
I mean, I understand it, Sebi. It's not one for the purist. The Evertonians will be looking at that, thinking that's not what we want to see from our manager, not what we want to see from our team. But I think against Liverpool, it was understandable. It's a one-off game in a Merseyside derby where you know you go toe-to-toe with Liverpool. Honestly, if Everton had just went, you know what? We are going to back ourselves to play against Liverpool and we are going to play pure football. Liverpool walk away with 5 or 6. They really do. They would have absolutely mauled Everton because they're light years ahead. So I totally understand the approach. Why play into Liverpool's hands? So make it ugly. Frustrate them. Frustrate Anfield. It was happening. For 45 minutes, the fans inside the stadium were going ballistic, especially at Jordan Pickford and his time wasting and the sort of dark arts that was going on. But why would you open up, Sebi, against Liverpool? You just wouldn't.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.